afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you happen to be tuned in. Happy you're here. We got some background coming in, so just give me 1 second. I hear it coming in from somewhere, but I don't know where. So we'll fix our little glitch in the matrix. Do you guys hear it?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's wacky stuff. Like I hear it twice. Chase that down. See, I'm hearing myself twice, and I don't know where that's coming from. So give me 1 second. We've not had that one. That's a weird one there,
That's
Andrew.
a new one.
So let's see here. That's wacky. Okay, I think I know where it might be coming in. So give me a second here.
All right.
Oh, I found it. I was like, where am I hearing echo, man? It's like, why do I hear my dumb self twice?
Right.
Oh, love it when we're live. See, I should have had my t-shirt on, live happens. So yeah.
Right.
This is live, folks. We're welcome to this month's Fireside Chat. This one is going to be lit. Like I've totally been into this one since you put it on the calendar, Andrea. But I think there is a ton to cover. So first of all, how are you this week, Andrea? So
I am doing well, doing good. Yeah.
Good,
Happy to be here.
We've got some folks joining us. Tom Fox tuning in from Michigan. So I think all of us have the same weather today. It's cold, it's rainy, it's dreary.
Yep.
But we're on fire here today. So
we are.
So we'll give it the whole whoop whoop. Wired for the future. Is that Lyle? I believe
Lyle.
That is Lyle tuning in.
Welcome
from
to the show.
Toronto, the world of Toronto, Canada. Love it up there. Dave Steger turning in from Wisconsin. So Lyle said, yes, I look different with a beard. So this is winter me. And I've got the winter beard to match. So this is what happens when you get old. Everything's gray. So, all right. He said, yeah, all good for audio now in Canada. So gotcha.
Very good.
So
good.
everybody wants to comment about the beard. So yeah. So this
mean,
is the first time in my life I've ever had a beard. So yeah. Here we are. Here, it's the best I'm going to get. Anyway, so we won't let the beard be the distraction today, Andrea. So
yeah, I think everybody's really excited about this topic.
Absolutely.
Looking forward to it.
What are you looking forward to yourself with what we have coming up today?
Well, I had the pleasure of meeting Harrison in Vegas at ScaleCon, and I know he talked about a completely different topic at ScaleCon, but I know today we've had so many tribe members ask about Google ads and Facebook ads, and just it's a nut that I think a lot of people can't quite crack. And I feel like Harrison's just going to bring a lot of tips and tricks for everybody to sort of get that started. So I'm really excited for some of the things he's going to talk about.
Awesome. So yeah, we got some UK folks showing up. Danny from the UK. So welcome to the show. See, I should have did a poll question. Rate the beard. So yeah, I don't want to be the distraction, folks. He said I need a Santa hat. So
just embrace it. Embrace it.
Exactly. I'm like, all right. I came back from a business trip. I hadn't shaved in 3 days, and my wife's like, just leave it. And I was like, all right. So we always do what my wife says. So
that's right.
I've been married almost 30 years. So I finally have gotten that in my thick head that's just best for everyone.
Smart move.
Anyway, so if you have questions going along, please ask those questions. So feel free to drop those in the comments. Type the letter Q : and your questions so that I can easily find those in the chat in front of me. Obviously, if you're here on YouTube, please like and subscribe while you're here. Nigel will appreciate that. We appreciate that, so we can get you tuned in to all the good stuff that is coming up on the Tech Tribe YouTube channel. Also, those of you tuning in for the first time, this is going to be recorded about 10 minutes after we go off the air. If you refresh the page that you're on right now, you'll be able to watch this stream from start to finish. So, without further ado, Ernst has said he's a little bit late, but you didn't miss anything, Ernst. That's why I did a little bit longer of an intro today, because I know folks that might be jumping on don't want to miss any of the fire that Harrison's going to be bringing today. Without further ado, help us welcome Harrison Barron to the show.
Woo!
You get the supreme music, my friend. I'm looking forward to learning a ton today, Ernest, because I'll be honest with you, I ran an MSP myself for over a decade without a single ad. Like, I have never run a single ad on any platform. Everything I've done is organic. So I want to learn. I'm like super anxious to learn today. So since you and I are just meeting today, and some of the folks on the show may not have met you yet, just give us maybe an elevator pitch of how you got into the MSP industry and why you think Google Ads is the bee's knees right now for MSPs. That should be a t-shirt. Bee's knees for MSPs. So
thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it. So my name is Harrison Barron. I own a company called Growth Generators, and give you a little background about, I guess, who I am and where I came from. So I came from the MSP world, specifically sales. At the time, I had a business owner that was pretty MIA. He had some family things going on, so it was up to me, his brother, who was the CFO, and the service manager to run a lot of the business. So I took care of sales, procurement, all the way through, and helping with marketing and driving the marketing direction there, as well, between creating campaigns and all that kind of stuff. So came from that world, left that world. Got super tired, super burnt out. I said, I'm gonna go start my own business and start a digital marketing agency. And that was not the most fun that I thought it was going to be. And I was like, you know what? I'm done with the MSP space. I'll just stick with what I'm doing here, and I was enjoying it. And sure enough, fast forward, I went out, built the company, and then I was like, you know what? I'm never going back to the MSP world. I'll give out all my secrets of like what worked, because I had a pretty tremendous quota. I added about $2 million in revenue in about 2-ish years working at an MSP, and I was like, I'll give out all my tips and tricks and secrets on YouTube. And sure enough, those YouTube videos turned into a whole YouTube channel. We're now one of the fastest growing YouTube channels. And it's funny, I got harassed by people to create more things and create trainings and all this kind of stuff from the internet, to go out and create, to teach, weirdly, in the strange way, what I knew and what we did that worked, and what I did that worked. So fast forward, now I'm here, and went to Vegas at ScaleCon. That was pretty tremendous. And now I'm on with you guys. So it's been a fantastic journey. I couldn't be more proud of myself, and couldn't be more thankful for the people that I've been able to meet and get surrounded by.
Perfect. So you have a lot to teach us. We've already taken up 11 minutes. So I want to go ahead and break over to a scene. You've got some slide deck. You're going to give us a little bit of a workshop today. So again,
Yep.
If you have questions for Harrison as we go about going through the presentation, type the letter Q : and your question in the comments so that I can find those. So we'll try to interject those if we can throughout, but we'll definitely, I tag those in the comments. We'll have some time at the end if we missed anybody's comments. So again, Harrison, the floor is yours, my friend.
Cool. I appreciate it. By the way, Prairie, yes, I didn't realize how hard it was to start a new business. That was a trial by fire learned lesson. So take that with a grain of salt. I didn't quite realize how hard it would actually be. So I'm going to just talk about some digital marketing and digital advertising for MSPs. I'm going to give you guys some strategies throughout this entire process. I'm not going to let you guys walk away without some good information that you can make, actionable things happen on. I'm going to share my screen just like this because it gets weird sharing it. But truth be told, most MSPs stink at digital advertising, and it's not quite as hard as most people actually think it is. It is, I would even argue to say it's probably a good bit similar or a good bit easier than most people um, truly think that advertising needs to be, but it's the strategy that goes into it. I'm sure for the people who follow me on YouTube, you know that I have the fake money, but I'm sure we've probably lit enough of this on fire between Google ads and Facebook ads. So hopefully today I can shore that up and stop you from ripping through some money. So who am I? My name is Harrison Barron. We have a YouTube channel called Growth Generators. We've helped I think 160,000. That number's probably smaller now, or much larger. That's a small number now. But I went into it. I didn't really know much about sales, didn't know much about marketing. I went through some Sandler sales training. I've gone through endless amounts of marketing training. I was a HubSpot partner for a long time, and I've added about $2 million of revenue to a former MSP. And now I don't even know how much money we've added to existing MSPs. So let's talk a little bit about why digital advertising matters for MSPs. I'm sure everyone on here knows that it's important and stuff to do. And I have a bunch of tabs I'm going to go through as well and kind of show you guys some real world just examples and kind of how you can spy on your competitors to get a leg up or just see what other people in the industry and other people are doing so that way you're not blindsided by something that comes up. But digital ads are an extremely cost-effective way to reach targeted audiences. It just helps you get brand awareness. It helps you stay competitive. It helps you stay top of mind. And a little fun fact, 70% of tech buyers use online searches before or during their purchasing process, right? We all love referrals. Referrals are really, really good. But at some point or another, we have to stay in front of those people. If we're not going out to the networking events, if we're not, staying on top of it, if we're not sending out the marketing emails, if we're not showing up to the coffee meetups, whatever we're going to, a meetup, a BNI, a LaTip, Chamber of Commerce, whatever it is, we feel like we're not gaining ground. And we feel like that because it's true. We're not actually gaining ground. We're not able to stay in front of certain people. And don't get me wrong, I love networking. I have my own business cards as well, but there's a serious point of diminishing return, and that's where ads can come in. So I want to talk a little bit about some numbers because advertising is absolutely a game of numbers, and these numbers are going to vary. These are some basic numbers. These are actually quite good numbers, and what I hope all of you watching aspire to get into. But an ad view gets, let's say, maybe 5,000 views, right? And this is all geared towards your target customer, and I'll go into that here shortly. But you have your ad views. We have, in this case, 5,000 views, right? That might be a little bit of a smaller number, but let's say you have 5,000 perfectly targeted ad views. Out of those 5,000, maybe 10% of those people jump onto your landing page. Out of those 10% of people, we get now 50% of those people, or better, 10% of those people, 50 convert into an actual lead. Somebody that you could see a first name, hopefully a last name, a phone number, and an email address. Those are leads. Those are people that we can pick up this magic little device that we all carry called a cell phone, and we can call those people. It's really, really important that we go into it knowing that we can call those people. And maybe out of those 50 people, we actually get about 10 discovery calls because they've came in. Remember, they came in from that awareness phase of that ad view. They've gotten to the landing page. They've gotten some kind of information out of that. You can call them, you book your discovery call, you create a proposal for them. Maybe half of those discovery calls, you create proposals, and maybe two of those five proposals you actually end up closing, and that's a closed deal. Now, once again, perfect world, perfect everything, but this is generally what your advertising should look like. And if you're not moving the needle with ads, we can start to work backwards and figure that out, right? And I just have a basic marketing funnel here where we have to build awareness. We have to have them consider us, whatever we're doing, whatever we're giving away, whether it's a lead magnet, that's a consultation, whether it's an ebook, a webinar, a demo, anything like that. Then we're going to have them convert, right? Because they've asked for information. They've believed that they can trust you. They've asked for some more information. They convert over to that lead, and then we're going to engage them. They're going to become a customer, hopefully, and then they're going to be a loyal customer out of that. And I'm going to be talking about Facebook and Google ads specifically today. And a lot of this also relates to LinkedIn too, for people that like to run LinkedIn ads as well. So why choose Google or Facebook, right? We have to think about why we might want to advertise on what platform versus another, right? Everybody in here, for the most part, is using obviously Google, but for the most part, you guys are probably all using Facebook. It's just the general demographics that are on there. So Google, we have to think about it's a search-based targeting. That person is searching for specific information, and if our information, if our ad doesn't match up with what they're searching for, it's going to just completely throw off the numbers that I was just talking about before. But they are a high intent audience. They are actively searching, but we have to make sure that we match up once again what we're advertising to what they're searching for. And it's best for capturing leads when they're ready to actually buy, when they're ready to make some kind of decision, when they're ready to move forward, because they're already searching it. Versus Facebook ads, we have an interest and behavior targeting. Facebook has well over 5,000 points of data, from what political beliefs you have, to where you're located, to the businesses, to your interests, to who your friends are, what might influence you, how you've engaged with other ads before, and they can make a ton of informed advertisement places on your behalf because they have all of that information. They have it's a fantastic brand builder, because you can, once again, most of your target audience that is watching this, your MSPs, your target customers, are also on Facebook. And you could also engage people earlier in the decision making process, because we can drop those ads based on what they're actually looking for to get in front of those people. But we have to understand the intent behind it. Without the actual intent behind it, we lose a ton. Andrew, do you have a question?
I was going to say, which one do you think, if I'm starting out, that might be a common one. Like, which one should I choose if I've never run ads before? Which one do you think would be most effective for somebody starting?
Great question. So I would personally recommend going with Facebook ads for a multitude of reasons, and I'm going to get into that a little bit. But just I think most people are excited about Google ads. Google ads are statistically almost always more expensive than Facebook ads. And Facebook ads, as I just mentioned, you can get ahead of that buying process. You can help influence that buying process weeks, if not months, before actually before they're ready to make some kind of decision. So Google ads, right? What are they searching for? And does your query match what you do and offer, right? If you're going to put a advertisement out for MSP, for accountants, right? And your website, your landing page doesn't have any information about your MSP providing managed services to accountants, we now have a disconnect. And that's where a lot of people begin to go wrong. They just think, oh, I'm going to go spend all of this money and I'm just going to get people to my website, and their website doesn't convert. The person doesn't see the information they're looking for. It's not fully built out. I'm going to share with you guys shortly in one of my little I guess worksheets here, how you can actually go about that and the differences between those two. And are they looking to buy, or are they looking to learn? Right? A lot of people don't realize that if they're searching for IT company near me, they are probably interested in buying, but or at least starting the process. But if they're looking for, what is the best software for my accounting firm, and you advertise to that query, they might not find the information they're looking for, or they're probably looking for information on learning, not necessarily making a buying decision right then and there. So the strategy is going to change based on what they're actually typing into Google. Google, I like to consider like the NFL version, of ads. You have to really know what you're doing with it, and not only you have to know what you're doing with it, you have to be able to complete the entire process throughout to have success on Google Ads. And then you have Facebook ads, right? Most people are doom scrolling. I'm sure we've all been there, where we're up late at night scrolling on Facebook. We're doing something, we're procrastinating in one way or another, scrolling through social media. But the nice part is they are highly targeted ads to buyer information, and they're great for that top of funnel / lead generation area where we're getting those leads. And that can vary tremendously between Google and Facebook ads, just the way that people interact with them and how they're going to go about their buying decision. So we have to set some clear advertising objectives, right? Regardless of what platform you use, we have to know this beforehand, right? We have to know that we are building some kind of awareness, right? And you might be in different points of this too. Your advertising campaign may vary throughout this. If you're just starting out, you might have to build some awareness before anybody considers your stuff or even converts over to a potential lead. Then we have obviously consideration, where we're educating the potential leads on the benefits of your services, and then that conversion where they become an actual lead from there. But before we even go through all of this work, we have to start out with building your audience profile. So I just pulled up a quick little basic one here, and I'm going to share with you guys the one that I give out to people. But this is just a quick little demographic, right? Where are they located? What do they do, right? In this case, I just threw something together, but just so you can understand, hey, what are their ages? Where are they located? Right? How much money are they actually making? Can they even afford your services? Do they have the support? And this doesn't stop here. This could be researched on LinkedIn or any other platforms out there. And then we have their behaviors, right? Most MSPs, the business owners are hanging out on LinkedIn, they're hanging out on Facebook. They might be using Instagram a little bit. Most people are not using Twitter or X now, especially in the business owner world, or if they are, they're spending all of their time on there, but knowing who they are and where they're hanging out. If you're going after accountants typically like to hang out on LinkedIn more. If you're going after contractors actually prefer Facebook. So depending on who you're actually targeting will change everything. So you have to build some kind of audience profile out there and understand the pain points that they're currently having. So in this case, I put together a little buyer persona worksheet. For those of you that follow me on YouTube, you probably already know this, that I talk about this all the time, but you can go through and create this fake dream customer. Or if you already have I absolutely love this customer. I wish I could just Control C, Control V, or Command for the weirdos that use Macs out there. But just that copy paste of a customer. They have the budget, they have the time, they have the energy. You could start to fill out this information based on them. And if you don't have that targeted person, if you don't have that, I love my dream customer, start to make a dream customer, right? Understand who you want to go after, because all of this information is actually going to go through and help you build out your Facebook ad. It's going to help you build out your Google ad. And one of the most common problems I see is people just start running ads, right? They spend all this money without knowing who they're actually trying to target. And that's where things go off the rails. They're like, I'm going to spend all this money, I'm going to spend all this time, I'm going to spend all this energy without fully getting that ROI back or even knowing where to spend the money to target them.
Yeah, Andrea has a few more things I think to chime in there. You're speaking Andrea's language now.
Yeah.
Am I lying, Andrea?
No, absolutely not. So I was actually, my wheels were spinning before you even were diving into this about, based on say you're targeting a vertical, like understanding where they hang out, right? You go where your customer is, right? So do you have like kind of like a formula, if you will, of if you're in the dentistry business or you're targeting, like you said, accountants or whatever, sort of, have you kind of cracked that code of like, people hang out here versus here, so knowing where to put certain ads? Do you sort of have consultations, if you will, of like where people should advertise based on specific verticals? Going a little bit deeper, talking about that.
Yeah. If you already have targeted customers, or if you already have customers, find them where you can find them where they're hanging out. It's between LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, you could figure out like what groups they're a part of. And the internet is gigantic. It's way smaller than we all think. You can go on LinkedIn and search dentists, find groups, find pages, find out what software they're using. If you already have customers, this little thing is a weapon. I am so convinced. And for those of you listening and not watching, it's a cell phone. Ask your customers, hey, where do you hang out on the internet? Google, chat, AI, right? They will also guide you. And I'm painting a broad brush because I know that everyone's going to be hanging out in different spheres. Some industries are going to be like contractors. Somebody came to me the other day and they're like, hey, I want to target larger contractors. They could care less about LinkedIn. They're putting in bids. They really aren't, if they are, they're really not actively using it. But contractors love Facebook. They are all over Facebook. They're in contractor Facebook groups. So going into those areas is going to help you locate those customers. It's just about going and, you have to do a little bit of legwork to figure out where they're all hanging out. And sometimes you might find, a whole new niche in a different area that you never thought existed. I started on YouTube and people were like, "Hey, that's crazy for you to start on YouTube. You should go into forums and do all that kind of stuff." And I was like, "No, I'll go into YouTube and start there." And found a whole new audience of MSPs. So it really really varies based on who you're looking at.
But I think that's key. Like Andrea and I think we've talked about that at least a half dozen times this year about doing that step of identifying your buyer persona, your avatar, whatever you want to call it. But like just to getting a version 1 of who that ideal client, ideal prospect is better than just throwing darts at a wall trying to figure it out. Like you said, the internet's big. You don't have the time and resources to scour the entire internet. Like
100%.
Exactly. So we wanted to hone in on that because I think that's something that we've tried to really dial in on this year. Like, please don't skip that step. There's resources in the tribe. Harrison's given something away to take that step and actually do that. That's going to help ads. That's going to help direct mail. That's going to help your email campaigns. That's going to help everything you do. Like that is the core of marketing. And we think we can skip that step, but we're actually doing ourselves a huge disfavor. So, all right, I digress.
100%.
We'll let you get back at it, man.
No. That's it's so thoroughly accurate because I just hear it all the time. They're like,
Yeah.
I spend all this money and I'm not seeing an ROI, and I say, who are you advertising to? Everybody, right? And even if you're going local, you just have to change the way you're advertising.
Yep.
If they're searching IT company near me, your ads have to match that you are the greatest IT company, right? Because people don't search MSPs for the most part. They search IT company. But you have to make sure that your stuff is all about you being hyper local. That's why they're searching that. If they wanted a specific specialist, they would have gone IT company for dental companies, right? Or whatever it is.
Yep.
You have to go about it that way, because if you don't know who you're going after, everything else that I'm going to teach you in this is completely void and null.
Yep. You will burn cash. So I love that. So, all right, man, I'm going to flip back over and let you continue to roll.
Love it. So go through that buyer persona, right? I do give one away if you guys want to go grab it, growth-generators.com/resources, and it'll be towards the bottom here. But I would really recommend the amount of MSPs that just don't even know who their dream customers are. And even if you don't have a super specific one, you want to go more local, you could write that information down of, make a couple of these and who they are and what they are, right? What pain points are they challenging, especially locally? I just heard a new one the other day. They loved that the IT company I was with was local, and their pain point was every time we have to get somebody on site, it's days, if not dozens of hours that we're waiting before somebody comes in because they're traveling, they are not local, the person that they're sending is not from officially their company. So these are all pain points that they had, and writing that out, it's okay to not have a that be your thing, is I am a local MSP. Be proud of it, right? That's not a bad thing, even if you are a generalist. I'm a big fan of specializing, but if you're a generalist and you're focusing on a local area, what pain points are those people having? And you're never going to figure that out unless you fill this out and you start asking good questions to your local audience. But we have to build out that audience profile. And then we have to craft and create effective ads, right? So this is an ad we ran a little while back and it did fairly well, right? But we have to make sure that the visuals are catchy, right? And now I'm looking at this, I'm like, oh, there's still some things that I'd probably change or adjust on here, right? But the visuals have to be good. If the visuals aren't good, if they're not catchy, remember, people are doom scrolling. They're going through Facebook just like everybody else is. Whatever we put in front of them has to catch their attention. If it doesn't catch their attention, it's never going to be worthwhile. We have to make sure that the copy is good. And in this case, for people that aren't in sales, we have to make sure that the copy is as dialed in as possible. Now, thankfully, ChatGPT and AI has made that massively, massively easier, but you still have to have good copy, good, compelling copy. If you don't know how to write it, and you don't know how to use ChatGPT on it, find a either local copywriter or a copywriter in the industry or copywriter that's done worked with MSP slash ITs before. And Lyle, you are welcome, by the way, for the dental world. And then we have to have a call to action, right? I cannot tell you just on this ad alone how many people don't even put an actual page. In this case, this is growth-generators.com/MSP-heroes. But you want to put it can't just be the homepage. It can't just be, in this case, growth-generators.com. The homepage is not designed to sell anybody anything. In this case, this is our homepage, and we're in the process of doing a website rebuild. But while yes, it provides a ton of information, it's not designed to convert people over into an actual sale. Unfortunately, it's just like a place that people can go hit when you give them your information. Some cases it can be, but it's not fully dialed in to get that person to say, "Hey, I want to give them my username, not username, but first name, last name, email, and phone number." Right? Those four are the most important parts. If you're not matching your ad with what they actually click through. I can't tell you how many times I've gone in and done an investigation and they're like, my ads just aren't working, but they're getting great clicks because the second part of it stinks. It's not connecting with what they believe is the value on the other end. And it's really important to think about that as time goes on. And this is, you guys are going to watch this and you're going to start working on it today, but it might take you a couple weeks to get this fully dialed in. And then use testimonials in your ads as social proof, right? If you can put in either something in the image, if you could put it inside the ad, in this case, this was a fairly long ad, but if you could put it in the ad, quotes, testimonials, anything like that, as well as including it on what they actually land on, you now build up so much authority, so much, I don't want to say power, but trust with them. They want to see that they're not the first customer. And if you can convince your customers to give you videos of testimonials, those work so much better than anything else out there. They are very, very difficult to get. And then on top of that, we have to optimize our ads, and not even just our ads. And you guys will see this, but even testing out the landing pages that they're going to, right? I'm a big fan of creating multiple variations. So in this case, we have a woman here, version A, and a more cartoon guy, version B. And this is just what Grok, Elon's AI created, right? And I just did a side by side. I said, well, let's try two different art styles as my best way to showcase this. But you want to run multiple different tests all the time. You never want to be the person that's just running one ad, because then you can't get good information. You got to see what's going to produce a higher ROI out there for you. And then you'll see the data. Google will show you the data. Facebook will show you the data. LinkedIn will show you the data. Facebook makes it incredibly easy to run A/B tests because they know people are constantly trying to get the highest ROI. And you have to test the copy, the image, the calls to action, the landing pages, all of it to get the best possible conversions.
So Harrison, how long do you run a test for? Like, what do you typically do before you decide on which one's your best?
So measuring your KPIs, right? So what KPIs are important? Is it going to be the amount of people that see the ad? Is it going to be the number of clicks that you get on that ad? Is it going to be or is it going to be the number of conversion rates for that ad? So I've seen a ton of different areas where people focus on. Some people are like, hey, I just want to get, the best converting ad out there. Other people are like, no, I want to have, and this might sound crazy to some people, I want to have I want a higher conversion rate, but the ad kind of almost flops. But the ad that the ad that the people are hitting, or the people that the ad is actually hitting, are converting higher. And it's kind of strange how it works, but you're never going to know unless you test those, and you have to figure out what's important for you. Some people are like, I just want as many clicks. I'm a big fan of clicks. The more clicks I can get to the landing page, the better the data that I can get out of it. But some people are like, no, I'd rather have a worse performing ad, but a much higher conversion rate. It's totally, and I know it sounds crazy to some people watching, but as you run ads, and you go deeper and deeper in ads, you'll see what I'm talking about.
Do you usually let those run for like a week or two, or you like what? How long should they run it where it's going to give you like really true data?
Sure. Minimum 1,000 views per test.
Gotcha.
So if you're gonna run, if you're gonna run one ad, right? Hopefully you have an A version and a B version, and then those both have to get at least 1,000 views each. And Facebook, Facebook specifically, and Google, Facebook's a little easier to read, but Facebook will show you like, hey, this many views, this many conversions, and I think I like the way Facebook. I shouldn't say I like the way Facebook displays the data a good bit more than Google does. But just seeing that information so you can make a better business decision is important.
Perfect. Perfect.
Cool. So we have that optimizing that ad performance, and then we have to retarget. If we're not gonna, we can't waste the opportunity. We've worked so hard. We've spent the money on getting that ad in front of the right people. And this is all going to make sense in about 5 minutes when I go to my diagram here. But we have to make sure that we're retargeting those people. We can't just expect that. I'm not even a football guy, but let's just say for the football fans out there, right? Your first throw is going to connect. It's just not always going to go as planned. We have to keep trying to get in front of those people. So retargeting, you can do this on Facebook, you can do this on LinkedIn to a degree, and you could definitely do this on Google, where you're like, either you talk about it, right? I'm sure we've all done the weird experiment where we would talk about dog food, and all of a sudden dog food starts showing up on Google and Facebook, and it's tracking us around. Or we go on Chewy.com, and all of a sudden we go to a blog post that we're looking for tips and tricks on IT stuff, and all of a sudden there's dog food ads or dog toy ads, whatever it might be. And I'm not going to say the T word because my dogs will come running, but those are important things to be doing all of the time as well. You have to have a full strategy going out. You can't just kind of willy-nilly run ads to actually get success through this entire process. And then we have to adopt and analyze our campaigns, right? We have to see or adapt and analyze the campaigns. We have to see what's going on. We have to see what's working. This is not the rotisserie chicken cooker from a dozen years ago. We can't set it and forget it. We have to make sure that we're going through and consistently putting the time in, checking in on certain things to make sure that we have the highest ROI possible and that things aren't going off the rails. And I'll give you guys some quick best practices, and then I'll jump over to my diagram, and then I'll give you guys my strategy that works tremendously well for MSPs. But regularly update your creatives, right? See where ads, there's such thing as it's called an ad fatigue, where it's just the ad is kind of run its course and it's not gonna work anymore. That's why we don't see advertisements from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s anymore. They're constantly cycling things out. We want to make sure that we're targeting a narrow audience. We don't want to target a broad audience. It'll never get the ROI that we're looking for. It'll fall kind of flat on its face, and that's something important to keep in mind. And the more we can focus on that, the better off we're gonna be able to do here. So let's jump into kind of like my cheat sheet here of just some things, and I'm giving this away too, and you guys will have a link to this. But just kind of a process that we have to go through, right? So 1,000 visitors for every retest on here, but we have your audience, right? And we talked a lot about that search intent. So I'll punch in a little bit. We have that audience that we want to go after, right? If we run a Facebook ad versus a Google ad, the things change a good bit. On a Facebook ad, they probably want some kind of freebie, right? Assessment, guide, ebook, checklist, something that one proves that that company knows what they're doing, but two is also going to provide value to our lead. And then inside, we should have you guys use Growably, right? And go high level. I'm a big fan of, but they should be created inside of that CRM. Even if you use HubSpot, Glass Hive, whatever it may be, they're going to go through from that Facebook ad. They're going to see the freebie. They're hopefully going to get that freebie and should create some kind of contact in there. After that contact gets created, they should go to a specifically designed landing page for conversion, where that could go into either another freebie, that could go into booking a call, that could be getting a demo, they could get more information, some kind of big action. Now, if that doesn't happen, right, we want to make sure that we use, once again, our secret weapon, call them, to book that call. And then we're going to have some automations that follow, that email automation to confirm the appointment. We're going to make sure that we're adding value, right? We're going to go to that sales call or sales meeting, and we're going to create that proposal. And hopefully we're going to get a positive reaction out of that and close the deal. Now, if they're coming in from Google, we have to do something a little bit different than Facebook. Google, right? Once again, that's search intent. We want to make sure that we're designing and building a landing page specifically for that conversion. So that might be learning more, that might be getting more information, right? We almost cut out a whole step out of that Facebook ad because they are ready to take some kind of action. They've typed it into Google. We know that they're ready to take some kind of action. So we want to make sure that we are looking at something that gets them excited, whether it's a local assessment, it's a free, I've seen a free network ICP link. It's coming. But if you want it, all the resources are at growth-generators.com/resources, and you can grab them all in there. But we have to make sure that that's designed to get the person to say, like, hey, I just want to maybe book a quick discovery call. Maybe it's a 15-minute phone call to see if you guys could even go to a discovery day. But we want to, once again, create that contact in there. They're going to do something or other. And if they don't, and they kind of reach out and say, hey, I'd like more information, we have to pick up the phone and call them, right? Either they're going to book a phone call, they're going to, you're going to book a call, right? And that might happen in two different areas. They might manually say, I'm going to set up a call, or we might have to manually reach out to them and book that call. That's why it's in there specifically twice. And I just ran out of room to make this look even better. And then we have that email appointment to confirm, right? They've booked that call, whether it's a quick Zoom call, an on-site appointment. And then we have to, once again, add that value in that email. That email, those emails and that booked call is going to hopefully turn into a sales call. And then we have that proposal. And at some point, they're going to make a decision. We obviously want them to close. We're going to go through an onboarding, and then we always ask for referrals. And if you're not asking for referrals, if there's anything that you get out of this, you should start asking for referrals in here. And you'll see that these two kind of weird little crowns go around the outside, right? Whether or not they make a decision, and you're going to be adding emails throughout there, but if they decide, hey, not my thing, they should be going through some kind of email automation. Now, these two are mirrors on both sides because it's important to do it on both ends, but we want to make sure that we have an email automation with an email with a call to action, another call to action, and those call to actions could be, hey, we haven't heard from you. We'd like to book another meeting. We'd like to go through that. We also want to make sure that we add value in those emails. And I typically tell people, hey, every 4 or 5 value emails, you can ask for another call to action on here. In this case, these people have specifically gone through and stated that they're interested. So it's a little bit different. They've gone through, they've gotten the discovery day, they've gotten the proposal. So it's a much more firm call to action out there. And then we have that decision. But what can we actually give out? Right? What are the things that we could create? We have ebooks, we have white papers, we have checklists, webinars that you could do, right? You guys all use pretty cool technology. There's plenty of webinars out there. Case studies are always big. They're not so much a lead magnet, but they can help lead to a lead magnet. Or you could just say, hey, this is our full case study guide or case study book of what we did, or deeper case studies out there. Free trials. I know demos are a little challenging for certain people and free trials, but there's no reason we couldn't offer some kind of free trial for a month or two just to get people on board or comfortable with certain things. Infographics are huge, resources, guides, and a lot of these can also be found in the Tech Tribe. Quizzes and assessments are huge. I'm sure we've all seen those Facebook things where it's like, oh, see what kind of animal you are. I know it's a joke, but we can ask, hey, 100% of, I'll use dentists as an example, 100% of dentists are failing to fail to get this basic technology assessment correct. Email courses, right? Teaching people, hey, how to set up your passwords, how to make a password secure. I know this stuff sounds super basic because we're all tech experts, but our customers aren't, and we are not our dream customer. We have to make sure that we make a differentiation between that, and even some discounts and promotions. Hey, for a certain month, we might be giving away some kind of free stuff there.
So what have you found to be the best lead magnet for the best converting lead magnet, I guess, for ads? Just to give people an idea of what's.
I hate to fall back on this, but it's so true. It varies tremendously per industry.
Gotcha. So let's just take our dentist. If we're on the dental route,
you beat me to it. Dentists love easy to digest things. They want to see an ebook, right? They want to see some kind of white paper that they can actually use. It could be, I've seen checklists kind of work hit or miss with dentists. I've seen some gravitate towards checklists, and some of them are like, why do I need to do homework? I'd like to just learn about it.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I think works really, really well, especially for MSPs, and Lyle, I'm specifically thinking about you on this, but if you want to really blow the socks off, do a combined webinar with dental software, especially that's specifically used in that area, right? Hey, we're going to do a combined webinar or a video tutorial on how to use XYZ software to reduce, I don't know, let's say dental hygienist labor time, or optimizing your dental practice with a software.
Yeah.
You can get creative in certain areas.
Absolutely. Cool. I figured we'd throw any other questions while we're flipped to this screen, Andrea. Like, that's the one that came to my mind. Like,
Yeah, I was actually thinking the same thing. So read my mind.
we're on the same wavelength.
And I think you can use their stuff, that they, 4 out of 5 dentists don't know how to use this software properly, right? Just kind of like your press commercial,
Perfect.
Just, you got to make it catchy, and you will succeed.
Perfect.
But I can't even begin to tell you guys how many people just aren't even doing any one of these. Is more than most of your competitors are doing.
Yep.
And then so I give you guys some quick little marketing strategies down here. You have to define your niche. This is the most important one. Even if your niche is a local niche, that's okay. Content marketing is another great option. Social media presence, building that up. Email marketing. I can't tell you how many people don't even send a marketing email out there. 5 out of 5 dentists don't have antivirus. I do fully believe that, but I won't throw them under the bus. Going out and networking, online advertising, partnerships and alliance, just kind of what I mentioned with that software. Educational webinars and workshops are always big. And then search engine optimization and referral programs. And I know that people that are watching this are like, Harrison, this has nothing to do. Some of these don't have anything to do with ads. Hear me out. This is where my strategy comes into play. And then I'm going to give you guys a touch of secret sauce at the end here. The golden nuggets, for those of you that watch, are always at the end. So use this strategy works incredibly well, and I encourage Andrea to challenge me on this one if she wants to, but don't run an ad yet, right? First, work on your social media and SEO. Get some kind of presence out there. Build some kind of content on your website. Get traffic to your website. That's the most important part. And my favorite thing to do is after that you do that, leverage Facebook ads. Plant those lead magnets in front of your dream customers. Now, you're probably wondering, Harrison, why don't you put Google on there? You can run Google too, but we're all in the boat of let's save money. Facebook is a massively cheaper. Now, if your target customer is not on Facebook, you probably want to go to Google ads. But if they are on Facebook, Facebook is statistically cheaper always than Google. And make them amazing, right? Make the ads amazing. Build your system out. That's going to be amazing. Build those landing pages, those calls to action, the ebooks. You guys have already seen the buyer persona. That's probably the most thorough buyer persona on the internet. And if it's not, it's definitely up there as far as the better ones, because I want to make it amazing for you guys. And then you can plant Google ads in front of them. They might take a certain action. They might see something on Facebook. Now we can run that Google ad where we're going to get a higher ROI on our Google ads to follow them around the internet, because it is hard to just run a basic Google ad and have people convert. Now, I'm a big fan of some secret sauce here. And before I pull up if you guys want to follow us, there's 2 areas that I want you guys to just check out here as we wrap this thing up. You have Facebook Ads Transparency Center. It's adstransparency.google.com. If you just type in on Google Ads Transparency. Now, for whatever reason, Andrew watched this. This is a Google product. For whatever reason, it's glitching today and just isn't showing up data. But you could normally type in anything and it'll fill the page with the searches. You can search your competitors on there. Wink, wink is probably what you should be doing. But you can see what people are running, and it's a really good indicator of like, hey, are people spending money in the space? If they are, that means your cost is going to go up. But you can see where they're showing it, what platforms, whether it's Google Maps, Google Play, right, YouTube, Google Search. Where are they doing it in a certain time frame? Is it recent? Is it all time? You can see all of that information as well. And this legally has to happen, especially if you're here in the United States. They have to show this, and I don't know about the international laws. And Google has the exact same thing. And Nigel, please don't hate me for for showing this, but you could go on Google, on Facebook, and it's the exact same thing. It's called Facebook Ads Library, and you could type in your competitors. In this case, right now, you could see that Nigel's running a handful of ads, and these are all the ads that you guys have probably seen that the Tech Tribe is currently running. Free book on MSP pricing, free book on MSP pricing, free book on MSP pricing. It seems like that Nigel wants to give people a free book on MSP pricing. I say that lovingly because I have his book sitting right behind me. So you know, for the people that we're gonna say he probably doesn't have it, but these are the ads that he's running, and we could see when it started running. We can see the ad details. Now, Facebook goes a good bit deeper than Google, and you could see the advertiser, who it actually is, right? The followers that they have, the on Instagram and Facebook, because they're both owned by Meta, and you could see when they've started. Some of these ads, I'm sure, are fairly good because they've been around for so long. You could see March 21st. The tribal community, March 20th, the book, right? March 21st. And we could go even to past ads as well, and it'll show the past ads. So we could kind of pull it all the way back. And I don't even think Nigel stopped running any ads, but you could go through and see all the past ads. You could play around with this. You could learn. You could see what your competitors are doing, and that's going to help you dramatically start out with a better ad, a better targeting than anybody else. It won't show you who they're actually targeting. You have to figure that out. It'll just show you the actual ad. And in this case, this is one of the ads with a ton of text, and Nigel's book here with free book for MSPs with the opportunity to obviously download right there. But these are really, really important to just have and use. And by the way, if you want the marketing cheat sheet, it is available right there, growth-generators.com, mega marketing cheat sheet, or on that resources tab that I showed before. It's right there.
Perfect. I just
so hopefully that was helpful
in the
to
chat
some people.
for everybody. So
I appreciate it.
Yep.
Super helpful.
Dude, that was awesome, man. My brain is melting.
Try to get it in an hour. I did pretty good.
I will reiterate one thing that you said earlier is that this is just one piece of the huge marketing puzzle, right? Like this isn't a catch-all. This isn't a magic wand. Like this is just one little piece of the bigger marketing puzzle. But it is a good one that a lot of people obviously want to do and ask about. So lots of great information.
Yeah, and I love that you touched on that. That's one of the ones that I have seen to be the worst detriment to pretty much anything is like having everything go back to your homepage on your website.
Yes.
Like that was probably that's probably the number one thing.
They're the biggest complainers about spending this.
Yeah.
Every time.
Because
especially when it doesn't match up to the actual call to action on your ad. Exactly. It has nothing to do with that whatsoever. And people are confused. And so they bounce.
Yep.
100% right. You know, they have to be able to go through the entire process. And you know, the ad is just Prairie. Thank you very much, by the way. You know, the ad is just that top of funnel I showed. There's so much more that has to go into this entire process. And Rome wasn't built in a day. This is not something you guys are going to watch today, you know, depending on where you're at. I'm in the United States on a Thursday, right? And you're going to be ready to go Monday morning. This is a process that's going to take many iterations of getting right, but you have to follow the process and build everything out before you go burn money on ads.
Yeah, and I think if I took anything from what you said today and the things that Andrea and I have covered this last year, it is that buyer persona, that avatar, whatever you call it. So like if you don't have that done, that's what I would spend the next 6 weeks doing before the end of the year, or even that 6 weeks. It might be less than that. Like that's what I would have dialed in going into 2025.
Sure.
Because if you're frustrated with any type of marketing, it has to start there. If you don't have that, there isn't anything Harrison's going to do to be able to help you. I mean, you know what I mean? There isn't anything we can do to really I've
turned away more business because they don't know who they want to go after. Like you have to know. You could light this. It's funny. I actually brought burnable money to ScaleCon, and I forgot it in my backpack. Like I forgot everything else at ScaleCon. But it was I was gonna light the money on stage and just be like, "Who's tired of burning money?" Because it's what you're gonna get. You're lighting money on fire if you're not going through and following the process and doing the ad, building the landing page, adding the value, having that opportunity for them to book a call, then sending value until they actually book that call, you're just missing out across the board.
Yeah. So if somebody's in that place, I love this. This kind of led into my next thing. Google AdWords is expensive, especially in large metros. Some of his competitors are spending $10,000 a month. So let's touch on that real quick. If you're to that
Sure.
position where you have persona, you are maybe a little more advanced, you're moving outside the training wheels of marketing to somebody who's ready to actually start spending money on Google Ads. What do you think is a good budget to start with?
Oof, good budget. So
I mean, is 500
I
bucks
actually,
enough? Or, you know what I mean?
yeah, I mean, I would start. I would say whatever you're comfortable with potentially losing, right? And I say potentially losing because if, as I said, right, so $10,000 per month,
Yep.
you'd be surprised how many people spend that are just lighting that $10,000 on fire. They're not even getting the ROI,
Yep.
right? They're not, and is my process the best process on the planet? Maybe, right? But you'd be so surprised. Like, click on their ads, see what they're going to. Are they giving a download? Are they allowing somebody to book a discovery call? Are they getting more information? Create a fake alias. You could test their ads to see if it's good or not. I'm not saying be unethical, but like,
Yep.
see what they do, right? Test it out. You could be the litmus test and see what's going on, and go through that process. But you could have tons of success by pulling out certain queries in a Google ad and only running a couple $100 to those hyper specific queries. Because if it falls in the general populace of queries, they're not worth investing the money and the time and the energy into, where you can have a much higher ROI going after a hyper specific, right? So, and Prairie, I don't know where you're located, but I know where Wired for the Future is, and they have a specialty in dentistry, right? IT companies that specialize in dentists, right? And that could be the query, and then they have a landing page to follow that up. That'll go so much further with a smaller budget than IT company, near me, or IT company that might help, or dental office tech support, right?
Yep.
Which it could, but depending on what they're searching for, if you have that local home field, call it a home field advantage, putting those keywords in there will help a lot.
Yeah, I would think that would, like, you could dominate certain keywords by being specific, by niching down, whatever you call it, whatever side of the globe you're on with that word.
Niche.
But yeah, you could literally own certain AdWords and be spending a lot less money with a very
100%.
specific, highly targeted, speaks to the pain points of that vertical market. So, dude, this is
100%.
awesome. Thank you so much for being here today. So, yeah.
Thanks for having me. I gotta go jump in my membership call now.
I learned a lot, man. Thank you so much. So,
I appreciate it.
rock on.
I choose targeted audience when buying an ad. Yes, they do.
Oh, let me get back here. You're going to answer
hyper-specific.
one more question for us. So,
Oh, sorry. Do Facebook ads and Google allow you to choose a target audience when buying an ad? Yes, 100%. Google is a little bit more broad because they go based on what the person's actually searching in Google. Facebook allows you to get extremely granular,
Nice.
to the point where you can get within 5 miles of a location if you really wanted to. I think that 3 or 5 miles is the minimum size area, but you can do it's an if else or an end or statement all the way down to dial it in.
Gotcha. Cool. Thanks for popping back when we had to get had the exit door open for you.
I'm sorry. I saw one more
You're
question
just
come
dropping
through. I wanted to
value,
make sure
man.
I got it.
Thank you so much. All right, man.
Yeah.
We'll see you
Thanks so much
soon.
for being here.
Hey, appreciate you guys. Thank
See
you guys
ya.
for having me. I look forward to seeing everybody.
Yeah.
Man, that was a good one. Like, I learned a lot. There's a lot to unpack with that one. I think I'm definitely going to go rewind and watch that one for sure, Andrea. So,
Absolutely. Lots of good information.
whew. My stomach's growling. It's noon here. It's lunchtime. I was like trying for it not to come across on the microphone.
I don't think I heard it.
Good stuff. That was great. I know that a lot of folks, if you're still if you're still watching this, give us a thumbs up. Let us know like what your number one takeaway was from today. If you happen to be watching this on the flip side on the recording, go back into the tribal forum and let us know what your number one takeaway was from this episode. I know we had almost 200 registered. I don't know how many we've got on live. Let me see if I can tell. Right now I'm showing 39 still on live. So, but yeah, let us know what your takeaway was.
I think hearing him say start with Facebook, I was a little shocked by that. Not shocked, but that was interesting to hear.
Yeah, same. But
yeah,
I think
I
go ahead.
Just reiterate that, starting with that avatar, starting with that customer persona, I think that is so super important, and I'm really glad that he drove that home.
Absolutely, because again, like, when you and I first met, like that was the stuff that I was trying to skip, that I was trying to fix with marketing by throwing money at it. And yeah, you were like, you need to know who you're selling to. Like I think that's the fear as an MSP. We don't want to feel like we're only going to sell to dentists. Like you can have other clients. Like you get to write the rules of your business. So no, that's definitely good stuff. So yeah, Chad said, yeah, the persona and using that to drive developing targets was his big takeaway. So yeah, thanks for sharing, Chad. We appreciate that. So yes. So like I said, this is recorded. As soon as we end this stream, you'll be able to give YouTube about 5 minutes, refresh. You'll be able to go back through and watch this entire thing, freeze it. Especially when he started showing flowcharts and spreadsheets, like I'm in. Like that's my that's my jam. So David said too many people want to set it and forget it. We need to manage our marketing daily, weekly. Amen.
Preach. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. All right, Andrea, it's time for lunch. We will see you next week. I think we have our growth clinic on Thursday at 11 a.m. if I'm not mistaken. So
you're right.
Lots to look forward to. All right, all. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next one.